Shawbreak Sounds.
Welcome to Over the Falls podcast, episode number 55. This week we're joined by Ed Underwood, local DJ and hip-hop lover. We chat about Aberystwyth's nightlife, past and present, his journey into DJing, and his love for festivals and wedding sets. If you fancy a bit of nostalgia, this one's for you. This episode is sponsored by Hughes Estates, who offer a variety of different services, which include the sale of all types of residential and commercial property, farms, small holdings and accommodation land, and also leasing of commercial properties and land. Check them out at www.hiwse.co.uk. Visit them on Facebook or give them a call on 01970 294 139. Ed, let's just start at the beginning. Like, how did you get into DJing?
How did I get into it? I think it's my sisters, man. They got me into music. So it was through getting into music that I got more interested in DJing, but it was going to my first rave and not understanding how the music didn't stop. I was like, I don't get it. What's going on? There's no in between the records, because I loved music from a young age. But you got to go and change the record, you know, or you got to flip the tape over, or between the, you know, it's like whenever I'd heard it before, there'd be something going on in between. But going to a rave, it never happened. It was just the whole night. And so I was like, what's going on? And that's literally what started it, basically.
So how old were you then?
14, I suppose.
So do you remember the first night 14. That you went to then? Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was out in the hills. It was when I moved here. So we moved here. Fourth year, or year, whatever that's called now, but yeah, fourth year when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Because I'm from Barmouth, so there was not much like that going on there. But here, it was a bit bigger, a bit more going on, and I started hanging out with different people as well and getting into that scene, and so yeah, went out to. I think it was in Bronant. I'm not sure, because I didn't know the area that well at the time, and I was just driven there. And it was this party out in the sticks, and I was just trying to figure out what was going on and wrapping my head around it. And the guy that was DJing was like literally up really high, so I couldn't get to him and see what was going on. So it was just like started asking questions, and then it grew from there, because everybody wanted to be a DJ at that age as well. It was very, very, because that was the sort of helter-skelter age, and it was the thing, wasn't it? DJing.
It was.
So I was drawn to it for that reason as well, maybe, I don't know, but I was definitely, it was the intrigue with how the heck it was going on for so long, you know.
I remember all those bomber jackets in school from people who were like a little bit older than me and Dave in school, and it was like Viberlight. And
that's
things.
The first one that comes to mind for me as well. Viberlight. And I just remember all those cool guys who were a little bit older than me and Dave in school thinking, they're going to those sweet raves.
I remember the cassette holders.
None of them were they?
No, probably not. No, that's the thing. Remember the cassette holders? You know, like this case, there'd be like all the cassettes
tape
in there.
Packs,
tape packs. Marky G.
Yeah. Loft Groover and Clarky.
Clarky.
Yeah. I saw Kirsty the other day, who's Chris O'Rourke's ex, and she said, I've got a bunch of tapes for you if you want, that Chris's old ones.
Wow.
And she dropped off a huge bag, and there was so many memories in there, and I'm going through it slowly and going to digitize what's there and put it up, because I haven't done much digging in. I used to like hardcore and that sort of stuff, but I'm not into it now so much.
It was massive back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, huge
scene.
Yeah. And I really dug it then, but I'm a bit. I think my attention's always wandered a little bit. I'll never stick on any one thing, and so it's like, I think that's how I stuck with DJing, because there were so many avenues you can go down. So it's like you don't just have to be a hardcore DJ or a jungle DJ. You know, you can mash it all together. So that's what made it that much more fun for me as well.
Because you've got a very eclectic taste, haven't you?
Yeah.
You touched right there, but you can. Have you got a favourite genre?
Yeah, definitely hip-hop.
Hip-hop, yeah. I thought it might be, yeah. So was it from a young age hip-hop as well, though, was it?
I was into hip-hop as a kid, but it didn't grab me in the same way, because I didn't know that much about it. Yeah. So I liked it. I loved Dr. Dre. I remember that album coming out, the Chronic and Doggy Style. And so that got me into. They were like my first albums, hip hop albums, and then that got me into the big hip hop. So I discovered Ice Cube and Ice-T, and there's a lot of the West Coast stuff. But it was all the real mainstream stuff, so I wasn't aware of the underground stuff and what had happened in New York, and how the East Coast scene had started it all, and how that had where that had come from basically. So I didn't know the roots, so it didn't stick with me for that long then. So I dug it, but got into other stuff quite quick, and I think that's how I got into the rave scene as well, because the music was so fresh at the time, whereas hip hop had been there for a while. It was established, so it didn't have the same element of excitement, especially over here. It wasn't born here, whereas I feel like the rave scene really was. So that was what was popping off at the time, and just sucked me in. So I went back to hip hop through just my love of music, because hip hop, I think, is my favorite because it does whatever it wants. It's got no rules. It just steals from any type of music, and it's hip hop that taught me about other music. So that's why it's got the longevity, I think, because it's got those roots that go back so deep and so far. And it taught me about funk music, taught me about jazz, taught me about all the stuff that it's stolen from.
All the genres. We used to listen to a bit of hip hop back in the day, didn't we?
I did.
Rap Attack album and all that
like
sort of stuff.
The 90s was like a golden age of hip hop. Really.
Yeah, it really was.
Notorious B.I.G.'s Ready to Die album was probably like 93 or something like that, and I feel like that's like the golden age. I view it as the golden age of hip hop.
Oh, definitely.
But then in other genres as well, that the 90s was just like such a big time for music. I think you had like a grunge scene, you had like hip hop was booming, and then it was just an amazing
but the
time.
trance scene started kicking off as well.
The late 90s.
It was
90s.
hellish explosive, wasn't it?
It was,
and the
wasn't it?
90s was just like, it was a hell of an era. I mean, like the 60s, the 70s, they all had their own as well, didn't they? But the 90s just seemed to be where it sort of really blossomed, and it's all just it's never been as big as that. I don't think since.
I don't think so.
No, there's been lots of little micro explosions, but the blooming, it was seismic then, wasn't it? There
really was
so much going on.
There was, even in Aberystwyth.
There
was something on pretty much every single weekend.
Yeah.
And then up and down the country, there's nightclubs everywhere.
Yeah.
And they were just full.
Yeah.
Every single weekend. Or no matter what music it was just full.
Yeah.
It's changed so much, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it's technology, I think, is what's changed it.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
Because back then you had to all get together to listen to music. You had to all come together to get anything going off where you could attract people that were big in whatever scene it was that you were into. But now you can just tap into anything super easy, and it's great. But it's diluted, people's motivation to go out and get music, to go out and see music, to go out and mix with people who are into that scene as well, because you can do it all online. You don't even have to actually meet the people in person anymore, and yet you can join a community of people all over the world. You don't have to leave your sofa. So it's as cool as that is, it definitely sort of detracts from the real socializing that can come from music and come from people's interests, shared interests.
Oh yeah.
So that's the downside of that.
I've been listening to some trance classics the last week, trying to get back in my headspace. And you're talking about that community sort of feel, the social side of it. I used to have such a good time on like a Saturday night, going to a good dance night, and just the people in there. You're there for the music. You're sort of hugging each other. You're drinking water.
It's a big part of it, isn't it?
It was amazing. Yeah. After party after.
Just and the after party.
But it just feels like that. It's just doesn't seem to happen as much anymore, that community sort of thing. Because if you look at, let's say I go on TikTok and I'm doom scrolling, you'll see sometimes a video of Ibiza of a particular club in like 2000, and I'll show you the same club in 2025, And the difference between everyone dancing, having a really good time, to everyone just standing there filming the DJ with their phones.
Yeah, right.
Mate, it's so different.
And not moving much.
Not moving.
Yeah.
The DJ is the only person dancing most of the time.
It's so bizarre.
Which is bonkers, isn't it?
I saw I saw something that Jack Your Skills put up, which was loads of people filming fireworks, and then he said something along the lines, I bet they enjoy the fireworks when they go home, because they'll just rewatch it. It's like, and it's nowhere near the experience that you've got when you're filming. And people just do it in autopilot, don't they? So, this is a moment. I've got to catch it. Got to make sure everybody knows that I was in this moment. And it's like, that's not actually that important compared to absorbing that moment and appreciating that moment. So I think that's another reason why the 90s stands out that much, because that option wasn't even there. So it was just that's how it was going in. It was in that natural way, so it makes it that much more potent.
I kind of wish that they could ban phones in certain clubs or nights, but the problem is they might be like, oh no, it might be a safety issue, I might need to take a phone call, but I'd love to go to a night where you hand your phone into a locker or something.
I think they do.
Everybody can just.
There are some that do that.
There's some clubs in Berlin, I think, do it.
Oh, is it?
I bet the exclusive ones in Berlin do.
Yeah.
But that'd be a great idea, I think.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think DJ Spinner does that as well, because he does nights that are dedicated to artists. So he does his Stevie Wonder night is huge. But I think because it's all that appreciation of the time as well. I don't know. You might have to fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to take phones into that.
Love
Fantastic.
And it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. It is it forces people into appreciating it, which seems like such a bizarre thing to say. It's like being forced to appreciate something, but it seems to be necessary in this day and age.
Just enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is how you do it.
Do you remember your first gig?
Yeah. Well, I like paid gig, when somebody's like, oh, Ed, come and DJ and we'll pay you for it. I remember getting excited about that. I remember because I did house parties.
Yeah.
And stuff. So I considered those my first gigs, really.
Yeah.
Was DJing at Chris Stockley's house and making the flyers for
his
it.
name. Bless hell.
Yeah, they were some cool days. So that was my first gig. But my first pay gig was in what was called the Sweatbox in Llanbadarn. In the sixth form college there, they had their version.
Primrose Hill.
Yeah. They had their version of the Students' Union.
Oh right.
For the sixth form kids, and there was nights there pretty regularly. It was, I can't remember the name of it, but it was Lisa Young and Maz who had put it on. Do you know Maz and Titchmaz? I don't know Maz's surname. I should know, but I don't. But yeah, anyway, so those guys put it on, and asked me to come DJ, and there was no one there when I was playing because I was first on. Yeah. But the night turned out, it was a cracker of a night. But I got hella nervous for it, and there was no one in the room.
It's nerve-wracking, though, isn't it?
It was.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it was. But it was an important part of learning, what it's like to perform and how it feels.
Yeah.
And the difference between performing in your bedroom and nailing something and being real stoked with it, and then going out and doing it. And it wasn't even in front of people, but it was just doing it in public. It was like, somebody could walk in and see this, and it's not the same comfy setup that you've got at home that you're used to, and so it was a completely different experience. And even though there was no pressure from any crowd, I remember messing things up then, and it's not going to plan. So I was like quite pleased that there wasn't that many people there. But then, turned into a great night. We had a good time. But just those initial lessons being learnt I was pleased.
It's learning your craft, though, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
When did you first start working at Andi's Records? Because obviously I remember you long time ago in Andi's Records. I say long time ago. We're not that old, but I do in Andi's Records. So when did you start working there?
I think. 99.
Okay.
No, I think it was earlier.
It might have been because I got it not long after leaving school, so I left school at 19, which would because I moved. I went back a year because the schools here did everything that I'd already done over there.
Okay.
So I could have when moving, I would have had to catch up loads to stay in the same year. So I left school a bit late. But my maths is horrendous. I don't know what year that would have been.
I think
2001.
I think you might have been in there in 1998, and the only reason I know that is because I got about 1,000 vinyl in the room next door, and the first 2 were bought from you.
Hey.
So that was in 1998.
Right. I remember you coming into the shop, man, because that was when you were in Swansea, right? Or
no, I was still here then, but then I moved to Swansea.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I bought Venga Boys Up and Down for you.
I was going to ask you what are those 2 records.
The other one's not is quite a good track, but that on Positiva Records.
Yeah. Venga Boys were on Positiva.
Yeah, they did. They got on there. I remember
that.
Well, they were massive, weren't they?
They
were
were
this
huge.
cheesy Euro dance.
Yeah.
Duo? I don't know. Were they a band, a group? I don't know.
Yeah, there was. I think there's 4 of them. I actually supported them in the May Ball.
They came to the May Ball.
They went off.
Did they?
I've never seen a crowd respond to a band because in my head I was like, "Oh, Venga Boys, god damn it!" And then
you drink, and everyone's loving the Venga Bus.
The Venga Bus track is a banger.
Oh, I'll be banging up for the Venga Bus right now.
Love that track. So good.
Oh, it's really good.
Oh man, even Steve's the guy who put it on, even his parents talk about that night, man. They
went off.
Believe it. They compare every party they go to that. It's like, but it wasn't a Venga Boys, was it, darling?
This is the benchmark. This is the litmus test. The Venga Boys.
You worked there for a while, though, didn't you?
I did, quite a while. That job was amazing. It changed I think it was because of that job is how I was able to stick with DJing.
Okay.
Because I got massive discount on records. It was basically, whatever Andi paid plus the VAT. So I pretty much just get paid in records.
Bonus.
Yeah. And bonus for him.
Yeah.
But, not if he's selling them to me for nothing, for as far as what he makes, so. But yeah, I would, I'd just rack up the wax there, man. It would be, week in, week out, just stacking it. And nobody else could do that, around here anyway. They couldn't. So it was basically like records were half price for me. So it made a huge difference to the size of my collection.
I bet it did.
And the ability to be able to listen to tunes as well, because there's something about record shops as well that, like, everywhere you go, they make you feel bad for wanting to play a record. It's like, I want to hear this record. It's like some sort of, you see it in Nick Hornby's, the film of I forget what that's called, that movie, man. But Nick Hornby's book got turned into a film with Jack
Human
Black.
Traffic.
Oh no, I think I've read it, I know.
I can't remember the name of the film, but they nail that sort of record shop attitude really well. And it's like, for every record shop that I had gone in those days, it was that sort of vibe. You've got to work your way in and make sure you get on with the people there. There's some sort of element of they are the gatekeepers.
Oh yeah,
and being able to touch the records, and so for DJs it's like, well, I just want to hear. I want to skip through. I want to do this. It's really frustrating, and so that I think me working in Andi's helped, because I understood that people were like that. So if people wanted to come up and play records, I'd be like, yeah, okay. I tried to be as helpful as I could on that front.
Yeah, and
I think that's unusual for record shop vibes, because it's usually just like sacred space. But sorry, I've lost my thread. Record shops and working, and so I got a huge collection, and I'm so stoked for getting that chance to work there. I really appreciate Andi for giving me that chance.
He's still there.
Yeah, I know.
Different shop.
Back to his original shop, because I think he owns that building there, so he's always able to fall back on that, and that's where he was, because he started in Aberystwyth in the basement there. He had just vinyl in boxes, but that was before my day as well.
I just remember him by Cyril's, I suppose.
Yeah,
and you come down past whatever that pizza shop is now, and I just always remember it there, really. And then like Prodigy, like that music for the jilted generation, like that face in there, and then there's just certain memories that you trigger in your brain, or like a camo net and like part of the roof, maybe. It's just, I don't know.
But he had the 3D thing of that, right?
Exactly. Where the face was coming out,
it was
freaky. It reminds me. I love that album, and it just reminds me of that Andi's Records like era. So I guess late 90s, early 2000s. But just such a magical time for us, for music. And you know, you were talking as well about people wanting to like listen to, say, a record.
Yeah.
It's obviously a little bit later on, but I remember in Andi's as well, there was like maybe 3 sets of headphones when you walk in immediately, and then that was quite a good idea, but then they didn't have like a vinyl setup. I think it might have just been CDs.
The vinyl was behind you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to
like
have
that
to go and
gatekeeping thing, isn't it?
Oh, can I just listen to this? You're like, oh, fuck, so
feel like Oliver Twist.
Just like, can you just? It was always an eye roll. Like, it was like, please. It's like £6.
And then getting your music taste judged.
Yeah.
But that is just record shop, you know, ethos. I think I don't know why, man, because it's something that should spread, you know.
But the things, you are busy as well, I guess. But I mean, it's better that way than.
But you should be busy selling records.
True,
right?
That is true.
Yeah.
But the other flip side of it is where you used to buy vinyl from HMV, for example.
Yeah.
And there was just a turntable there in the corner.
They let you. Yeah, but the trouble is, you let the public get their fingers on it, and then you've got a second-hand record in an instant.
Really bad.
Yeah. And then they want a $5 for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. High Fidelity.
That's well done, man.
I remember reading it when I was many moons ago. I remember reading
Cusack.
that book. Yeah,
that's
in the
it,
movie.
John
Cusack in the
yeah.
movie. It's a good book, actually. Yeah, really good book.
Yeah.
High Fidelity.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, those days are just. Are we looking back on rose tint with rose tinted glass? Because I don't think we are. I think that sort of scene, that time, music.
Yeah, I think it was. It was tectonic, wasn't it? Man? It was. There was so much blowing up, and it was crazy. And it's like there's maybe more going on now as far as scenes blowing up, or not scenes, genres, but it's on a micro scale. So it's a different beast entirely. So you don't feel the same sort of cultural wave as you did then. You know, there was things would catch and they'd be all over TV. You know, you get a new genre now, and there's not much. It's not on TV.
No.
You know, you'll get it a little bit on the internet and in your community, but it's not powered by big companies anymore. So I think that's why we don't feel it in the same way. But it's got its benefits, but it's also got its losses. You know, it means that people can make stuff easier and get it out there easier. They don't have to wait in the pouring rain to get a dub plate, you know, pressed. But they don't have to. Or they don't get the same sort of exposure, you know. They just get exposures through likes and sharing and
they've got to have a big social media following to make it now, haven't they? Really?
Yeah, and then that's another job into itself, which
massively.
has got nothing to do with music. So it's like that's the downside.
Part and parcel now, isn't it?
Yeah, really.
But people just want to. I think sometimes as well they look at like the fame side of it, the social media fame side of things, and they think, "Oh, I'd love to be a DJ just because of that."
Yeah, right.
Rather than going into it because they love music.
Yeah. And
so I think it's had a positive and a real negative effect as well, I'd say. Like social media.
It sort of connects people, like what you were talking about earlier, but then you could go on like Reddit or something and then have a really obscure genre of music and connect with people, and that's kind of the cool part, isn't it? But then talking to someone in person and then connecting with music, or like you enjoy the same music with someone there, it's different, isn't it?
It goes deeper.
Of course it goes deeper. And I'm not just talking about the conversations you have in the kitchen with someone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just talking like just face-to-face conversations with people about, but I don't know, the internet has just changed so much, and we're sort of part of this magical generation where half of our life was without it, or maybe an early portion of our childhood was
it's like one foot in each camp.
And then now it kind of came kind of in our late teens, 20s, I guess. So we're just that special generation where we had the internet.
Yeah, I remember the first time a guy came, because there was a customer in Andi's who was, I loved him, and I can't remember his name, but I used to really bond with people on music taste, and this guy had amazing taste, but he was a student, so he wasn't here for long, and he came in and gave me some CDs, because he was like, "Oh, check this out! I've just downloaded this." And I was like, "I didn't even know the term." You know, he's like, "Oh, this is a live DJ set of." It was Kid Koala, I think, and then he sent me some DJ Shadow stuff. Oh no, he didn't. I say send because that's autopilot. He bought it in. He had burnt it to a CD, and I didn't know where he was getting it from, what was going on, but he was, you know, I don't even know what he was studying. I never spoke to him about what he did on that side of it. It was always just music. But I've still got those CDs, and he'd written on it, you know, MP3, and written on written on what the quality was. And so, because at the time I didn't know what I was looking at, so just sort of blanked it out, really. I just loved the music. I was like, oh great, that's a live set that wouldn't get sold because of the licensing issues, because the DJs are chucking in tracks that there's no way they'd get permission for. And that was the first time. And so I was still, it was the early days of Andi, so that would be 2000s when that started. But I'm so behind on that sort of stuff. It took me ages to switch to Serato. So that was when the internet stuff was starting, and people are starting to share music like that, because that's what really started ripping the guts out of the music industry, wasn't it?
What's Serato? Sorry.
Sorry. It's a DJ program.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. So what it does is it uses time-coded vinyl. So it's like using vinyl, but you can play anything that's on your computer like it's on vinyl.
Right. So, and then can you mix with it? And
exactly like you would. Well, you can do more things. It's like a CDJ and vinyl in one. So you can do all the looping, and you can do you get all the technological advances, but it still feels like it used to. So that was I jumped to that as soon as DJs that I really respect were using it. I was like, okay, this has got some legs, but that wasn't till way after it came out that I got on board with it. I remember a guy came up to me and he's like, "You haven't got a laptop? You're a DJ mixing without a laptop?" And it blew my mind that he assumed that it was so weird to him, because I was just CDs and vinyl still. And that was late. And so, I think that guy being so surprised was like, I better get my shit together. Because, if he's not even seen anyone using CDs and vinyl before, then, there's clearly a whole other world out there.
I guess you can have technical hitches in any style or way that you're playing. But I guess if you're like relying on a laptop, I'm just comparing it to vinyl. So you've got like a stack of vinyl there. As long as your turntables are working, you stick them on. But then if your computer crashes or software
then the whole show goes down.
I feel like it's almost more susceptible to failure.
Well, it can feel like that, but like you said, like you prefaced that with it's like all sorts of things can go wrong with all sorts of tech.
Of course they can.
So you can get a great big scratch in your record and it'll start skipping, but that doesn't stop the whole show, does it? You can just put another tune on. So if you've got a computer that dies, then what do you do? But most DJs bring backup, so you can easily swap to something else. But I was caught out with that this weekend. I did Ibiza in the mountains in the Havok.
I saw that advertised, right? And I said to Dave, man, we should have gone to that, or if they do another one, because I'd love to go.
How was it?
It was great. It was great. Yeah. In the beginning, it was really good, but I dropped my, because this is why I related to what we were saying. I dropped my charger for the computer before, and I just thought nothing of it, but it hit the floor and made a hell of a noise. And I was like, oh, it's fine, pick it up. I was in a bit of a rush, shoved it in the car, set all my stuff up. Didn't even pay attention to the laptop because it was all tickety-boo, everything was working. But then like an hour and a half in, I see this little warning sign flashing on the laptop. No. It wasn't charging. And it was down to 15%. And I was like, oh shit. So I was like fiddling around with the charger, then the light comes on. I was like, that's the problem, it's the charger's, it's knocked a wire loose. And I was having to hold on to the charger because that was working, just keeping it in place. And then choosing record. I was like, it's a nightmare. But I ended up basically having to bail and go home getting my spare charger. I used to, in autopilot, just bring doubles of everything. But it gets to a point where that you can't. I was bringing spare decks, I was bringing a spare mixer, and it's you just because I was having problems sometimes. Like I've got Vestex decks. Sometimes they just start going backwards, and that is mental when that's going on in the wrong way. Literally just goes, nope, not going that way.
Oh my god! Rewind. But every 10 seconds.
Oh my god!
I never had that with the Technics.
No.
With the Technics, but the Vestex, you could the pitch control would go way faster, so you had a lot more room to maneuver, So I always preferred the Vestex.
Did you over Technics?
Yeah, because of what it give you. Because it had reverse on it, but then it would randomly go in reverse, which I, didn't discover till a few years down the line.
I could never get on with them.
Could you not?
Never ever Vestex. I don't know what it was. I just absolutely love Technics.
They definitely got a more sort of tinny feel. A more plastic feel. They're not,
plasticky.
The good thing about Technics is that they're weighty, aren't they? You pick them up.
Beautiful. Beautiful machines.
I did like Adam Fugitive from the Eternal Crew, man. A bass fell out the back of his on the motorway, and they still work. They got a whacking great big dent in the side of it. They still work.
Dent in the road.
It's like the Nokia 3310 of like the turntable world. They're still going.
Oh, still going strong.
They're amazing. Yeah, you wouldn't get that with the best decks. It'd just be going backwards flat.
Is that one of the worst like technical issues you've had, or have you had any absolute nightmares?
I think what's worse was feedback. Weird sort of square wave feedback from digital stuff that's so loud, because there's one thing when you get mic feedback or vinyl feedback, it's just sort of you hear it building, but from digital stuff it's like it comes all in one fell swoop, wham, and that can, like, if you're standing too close to the speaker, that could seriously damage your hearing.
Tetanus for life.
So I think so that's definitely the worst stuff I've had. I literally had that in a gig in that Ellis put on in just after Christmas. He was raising money for cancer awareness. It was a hell of a gig in Bar 46. He had loads of bands there,
cool,
bunch of DJs, and Hugh, bless him, Hugh Bates gave me this big opening, and he was like, Eddie Scissorhands, blah blah blah, nice, whatever his intro was, and then I was like, hey, jumped on. For the first like 5 seconds, just this manic digital feedback, and I was gutted because there was all this build up. They just loved the last band, and then I had to reboot, which takes like maybe 5 minutes, which isn't that long, but in
that moment,
atmosphere killer.
It literally was. Everyone just went back, talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. give us 5.
So they came back on, head down.
Sorry about that.
Over the years of like DJing, we'll talk about Aber for now anyway. Like, have you had like a favourite like venue that you've played at? Like, some come to mind, like maybe like the basement in the Bay, or like there's a lot of different venues. Where was sort of your favourite time where you doing some DJing?
Maybe Poonanars,
Yeah. What was a blast from the past?
I love that venue.
Yeah, Dave played there.
Yeah. Good place.
Yeah, it was, because the freestyle was at its height then, I reckon. Do you remember freestyle? That was that. Yeah, you because I was pretty young for that, so you boys.
Well, maybe not freestyle. No, I don't know what.
Freestyle.
No, I don't know actually.
What type of genre? How do you mean?
I've got
it was a night. It was a night.
Oh, a night. Sorry.
That Toby Farrow and Dave, I forget Dave's surname, that they used to put on, and it was running for years.
I think I remember it.
Right. Okay.
But we predominantly went to sort of the techno or trance. Or
This was definitely sort of breakbeat, funk, and hip hop.
Yeah, I went to less of those when we were younger, anyway. Certainly.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, Poonanars, I remember that.
Yeah, it was a great space, and it would be packed every time the freestyle was on. And the crowd were just really up for it, always really up for it. It was like funky hip hop, or funk would just go down. You could play damn nearly anything and it'd be lapped up, and the venue had been well kitted out. It looked quite plush for Aberystwyth. I remember.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, no, I do.
Nice
I remember
place.
going in thinking, oh my God, I felt like I was at a cocktail bar in Cardiff at the time or something. I think, oh wow.
I think he was the owner. I'm sure he was from Cardiff.
Yeah,
I'm sure he was. I can't remember his name now.
I can't
remember.
But I definitely had that vibe when I walked in there. I was
definitely
surprised that it was in Aberystwyth, because I guess I was used to going like to the other venues, like
remember the Glen?
Yeah, the Glen, or Plastic Fantastic and Football Club. Time Flies, which was a great night as well.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Bar 9
and Spank as well. They were good nights. That was in the footy club, and they'd kit out the footy club so it wouldn't look anything like the footy club. It would be like proper rave cave.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. But the Time Flies, they did a good job as well.
Oh, a brilliant job.
But
they did.
So you used to play in the room 2 with there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that was a busy night.
Yeah.
Once a month, wasn't it?
Was it that frequent? Was it?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
it was
for a while.
Like
maybe
super
for
excited.
2 years solid or something. Maybe I felt like it wasn't that long as in like duration though, or maybe I'm just.
It was probably just when the students were here then, wasn't it? Yeah, so there'd be the big summer gaps and stuff. So that's what made. Yeah, that's probably. What
I can still picture those fake flames at the front, and then like girls in like furry boots. You can just sort of like
Matt Hammond,
remember those nights.
Richie Williams.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, big event. Because they were big down in Cardiff, weren't they?
Yeah, right.
I think he made some good money up here because he never used to bring any like big DJs. It was always just like the resident. They were good DJs, don't get me wrong, but never like big names.
Yeah.
And so
you knew they'd sell the tickets anyway.
Yeah,
because
they
didn't need to invest.
We all wanted a night out. You know, like that, and then I guess you
chomping at the bit.
Oh, we couldn't wait to get there.
Yeah.
So good. It was a big crew of us going. There's probably about 15, 20 of us sometimes, isn't there? Just all just party beforehand, get up there.
Mega party, big party after.
Good times.
Oh, seriously, good times.
But the Bay Basement had loads of good events as well.
And I loved that place, but it was
dark and like dingy.
Yeah, it was a bit
good.
train spotting, wasn't it? It wasn't as train spotting as the Angel. It was definitely a bit train.
There was the Angel next door.
Because I feel like we always, all of us have had good nights in that back room.
And I love it, and I love, it's sort of almost the Cedia replaces the better because it's that it just removes all that. I better not, I better behave in here. Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy
it's
yourself.
like you can just cut loose.
Yeah,
and so that's a great, it's a great place to be in when you don't have to worry about that sort of thing. But there is something nice about, a little bit of luxury when you're in somewhere. It makes you feel like,
especially at this age.
Yeah. Now
a bit of comfort.
I think that's why it stands out so much because I'd not experienced it. That's like Puna Nas, who like super swanky.
Right.
I remember thinking the same thing. I remember thinking, wow, this is like a cocktail.
So good. Remember the rare one?
Yeah.
Roger Shaw and Dave Neil Soul putting those. They were putting some big events on.
They invested.
They did. It's a shame that they stopped doing that because I remember going to one up in Nanteos Mansion.
Right, yeah.
I'm not sure, you might have been DJing
I didn't go to that. I've never raved in Nanteos. I wish I had.
So good. It's like Halloween times. It was all fancy dress.
Yeah.
Really good music. Pretty much all night.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. I remember seeing the lineup for it as well.
Yeah.
They got Calvin Harris to play in Bond Street Venderguide, didn't they?
Did they?
I remember seeing
in that like hall in Bond.
In the massive hall that was made.
Where they have like they had to have a ball there or something.
They used to have the Mabel there, didn't they?
Obviously, way before he became massive.
No, it's when he was big. It was because I think Rod's he does all the TV stuff, doesn't he? Yeah, and so he was on that path then, and I think he was on he was touring with Calvin Harris, so he just gave him a nudge, said, "Oh, could you whack this on the end of your tour list?" And it was like Ibiza, all around the world, these global dates, and then at the end, Bond Street Venderguide.
That's incredible.
I never knew that.
And then, like how long there's a lot of letters in Bond Street Venderguide, so it stood out.
Can they not have just said Bond? I guess you have like the proper name. I remember thinking, do you remember was it called Square Fest in Bond?
Oh yeah.
I remember being quite impressed in some of the names that they managed to sort of get for that festival as well.
Did they have Pendulum there?
It was Pendulum. I went and I saw Pendulum there. I remember that. That was quite a crazy one as well. Yeah, thinking, God, this is in Borth,
Yeah, right. And they made that. I remember they had a door to nowhere there. That was one thing that I really liked because they were making an effort with artwork as well.
Yeah,
and there was loads going on. I love that. I love walking around Fezzies and there's just little pop up bits of craziness that you can get lost in.
Spin you right out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been many moons since I went to a festival. I got some real fond memories of them though. Really. Do you remember the time when? Just trying to think when it happened, but when sort of like the drum and bass kind of exploded a little bit, including in Aberystwyth as well. So I guess that was like maybe 2007 maybe or something, and then they started to put on the nights in like the art centre and things like that.
Yeah. Jake and Martin would put on quite a big one, wouldn't they? I can't remember what that was called.
Begin with F, I'm sure it is. Yeah, I know the one.
Yeah.
There's a few different names, wasn't there? But there was, it was quite good drum and bass nights, wasn't there?
Yeah.
It seems really popular around here. I think it probably still is, but that one's always been popular. Yeah, really popular.
Yeah. Oh, I get asked for it I got asked for it in the pier.
Did you?
And I get asked for it now in Bar 46 and even in Rummers. But it's like you can... you've got to feel that stuff out, because there's massive commercial drum and bass now that's in the charts, and so there's stuff that, like, I remember hearing it on Teletubbies. I was like, drum and bass on the Teletubbies? What's going on? I used to get arrested for listening to this, and now it's on a kids program. But still, like, it can alienate a room, So especially if they're Venga Boys fans or whatever, you can tease a little bit. Say again.
What's wrong with Venga Boys? Venga Boys.
You've got to read the room, haven't you? Of course you have. You've got to read the room and understand what people are maybe into and what they're not into.
And the trouble is what I found is that the peeps that ask for drum and bass quite often won't dance to it. They just want to sit down. They just want to be in a room where it's on, because that's what they love. They're quite purist. But then it's like you can't. So I love playing requests for people, but my rule is I'll keep an eye on you, and if you don't dance, it's coming off. It's coming off.
You're gonna get one track.
Yeah,
you better dance your ass off.
The Black House is a big event, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did you play? Have you played on those?
Yeah, a few of those. But they're never that successfully. Sadly, it was always me trying to do hip hop, and it was just cats that wanted drum and bass.
Yeah, they wanted drum and bass.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, but I'd want to push that hip hop element. But I love drum and bass, man. But they had enough people playing drum and bass there, and big names and people that they did come to see. So that's why I wanted to do the hip hop thing a bit more. But I never pulled it off successfully there, sadly. Yeah. But it was good. We had a few people, but they were big rooms to fill, man. And so when the main dude would come on, it'd be like get flooded.
Get out,
Yeah.
They were busy nights though, weren't they? Like I went to a couple of them. I didn't go to loads of them. I went to a couple of them, but they were busy and they did seem to do well.
Yeah, wrap around the block, man. It
was really good. What has been some of the best gigs that you've actually been to? So I'm not talking about yourself DJing now, but like maybe a live band that you've been to see, maybe an artist that you've been to see. Yeah. Or do you not get to do that so much?
Not so much, but I do. I tend to do fezzies, and then you can squeeze it all in, because I'm usually working when things like that are on, but I do make an effort sometimes, so it's you've got to, haven't you, especially with DJs and artists that you love. So one of the best ones I'd seen would probably be Kintaro and Crush in Coco in London. Have you ever been to Coco?
No, definitely not.
It's a beautiful venue, man. It's a really old theatre, so it's like actually like sort of 3 stories high, because they've got the seating going up 3 stories like you do in theatres, so everybody can look down at the stage. But it's quite small. It's like it doesn't feel. It's maybe 3 times the width of this room, maybe a bit more. Or that's how I remember it anyway. It seemed like huge, but still real personal. And then these 2 Japanese DJs who I love. One guy who's a producer. He's basically the Japanese DJ Shadow, and then the current DMC champion at the time. So it was all this wiki that I was absolutely loving, and then this sort of real ambient, nice, deep stuff mixed in with it, and seeing them work together. And it's not easy to make a room explode when you're playing chilled stuff, but they did it, man. They just had the whole room in the palm of their hands, and I was hellish pleased I made it to that gig, because that was mind blowing.
If you go to a gig and it feels quite personal, so you're not in like a massive, gigantic, like I use a stadium. Like they're not always negative. I've been to some really good stadium shows.
Yeah, but it's a lot harder though, isn't it?
Something about like something really personal in like quite a small venue.
It's intimate, isn't it?
Really intimate.
It's getting that close to people that you, for want of a better word, worship as well, isn't it? Or people that you put on high pedestals, and then they're just there. And so if you're in a massive stadium, you're that much further away, aren't they? And half the time you have to see them on the screen to get
exactly.
A
or
feel.
a big festival's the same.
Yeah,
just a massive field. Hopefully the sun's shining, and then you just like think I can just make out Metallica there all the way over there somewhere.
Is that them?
So many people there.
You mentioned that nightclub there. Is there anywhere that you would love to play? Like past or present nightclubs?
I'd love to play Coco.
Coco's the one.
That's a hell of a venue. I'd maybe past events, the Peppermint Lounge in Manchester as well.
Oh, okay.
It's a small one, but it's the nights that I've had there have been just the nights that I'd love to attend. Or Jazz Caf, that's in London. That'd be I'd feel like I've made it then.
Yeah. Sign off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it your full-time job now then, Ed? Is this what you do full-time?
Yeah,
Brilliant.
it has been for a while. I help a mate out in Gorginan in the day sometimes when he needs me.
Yeah.
But it's like there's no pressure on that. It's like I don't have to clock in. But over COVID, that all changed. That went out the window. And I also, when there was that massive storm recently this Christmas, I was playing only in Rummers pretty much, and Rummers shut down for like 3 months. So that proper sideswiped me as well. So I had to get a day job then.
Of course, yeah.
So, but since Rummers come back, and in between actually, I got some other work that I was able to lean into more fully, and it paid enough to be able to let the day job go again.
Cool.
So it was,
getting paid for what you like enjoy and love.
Yeah,
It's quite rare, isn't it?
It is, man.
It's awesome to do that.
I feel as if you're really lucky if you've got something you love, let alone whether you get paid for it. It's just having something that you're passionate about, something that gets you excited. And then if you can get paid for it as well, that's absolute,
It's the best, isn't it? Really,
yeah. Because you don't have to. A day's work isn't the same thing at all.
No, I can only imagine. But it must be pretty good.
But I mean, my job is, I play stuff that I wouldn't listen to myself,
of course.
But I've definitely learnt to love the seeing people, because it's not like the most, but one thing that I love about DJing is making a room dance and seeing people enjoy themselves. Yeah. And so even if I'm playing Venga Boys or whatever it is, if people are loving it, it makes a big difference. Yeah. It does make a big difference. And so I was like, as long as I'm keeping you happy, because people don't pay to come and see me. I work in clubs where I'm the DJ that's there, so they'd wander in and could see anyone, So I feel that pushes me even more to be like, hey, let's have a good night. Let's have some fun. So you tell me what you like, because it's, instead of having to read it and figure it out, I'll jump on the mic saying, if you want any tunes, let me know. And obviously you've got to put a bit of a filter on it, because you get some people coming up saying, oh yeah, drum and bass, play some dubstep, play some this and that. And like, we can try, if there's enough of them asking for it, hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
But that's all part of it makes reading a room easier, basically, if you ask. And I think people enjoy being interacted with as well. So I do a lot of chat on the mic, but not just I try, maybe it is, but I try to make it not annoying chat, when you're like just Alan Partridge on the microphone.
I love Alan Partridge, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. It does happen.
You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully I'm not that guy. But
no, definitely not.
No, not at all. When you're doing like weddings, is there any particular go-to tracks that you go, right, that's gonna get him on the dance floor?
Yeah.
Like what? Have you got anything that springs to mind?
Yeah, Jackson 5.
Yes.
Yeah. What's the track? I forget the name of the track. I'm sorry, I've not had a lot of sleep.
It's fine.
Well, you were out till 4:30 this morning. You just told me.
That is a great effort.
Naughty boy.
I Want You Back.
There we go.
Yeah. That's that, or 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Aber. Aber's a classic at a wedding. And it's what I love about weddings, because I mean that is meant, they say it's the scraping the barrel of the DJ profession, but it can be so much fun, man. I love weddings, especially when you get all the generations on the dance floor at the same time. That's the best bit. And Aber, bless them, they're great for that.
Perfect.
I don't know anyone that doesn't like Aber. They'll say they don't, but it's not true.
After 17 beers, I enjoy them. They're the best. But I've been to some cracking weddings, and I think it's
times.
Just I guess sometimes they're better, sometimes they're worse. But yeah, you can have a great night at a wedding.
You can
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that's what I try and do. I do, because I genuinely take it personally if the dance floor gets cleared. It's like, it's my fault. I'm the one that's meant to put people there and get them having a good time. That's why I'm like, right, okay, if I'm trying to play stuff and it's clearing, it's like, guys, what do you want to hear? This is our night. What let's do it. I'm not here for me, I'm here for you. So
I think that's a much better way to look at it, rather than just the DJ being like quite hard-headed and be like, no, these are the tracks I'm playing, and you can like it or lump it.
You will enjoy it.
But that does happen, doesn't it?
It's crazy, though.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think it's a really good approach to the interaction, I think, helps. And then actually wanting to know what people want to listen to.
Yeah, because sometimes, like, that's the beautiful thing about music, is how personal it can be. So sometimes someone will throw something at you and you're like, there's no way I would have played that had I not have asked you what you wanted to hear. And then you get that, and it's like a massage, man. It's like finding that spot, and it's like, okay, you like that, and this sounds a bit like that.
Yes.
And then you can go. Yeah. I was playing Yoko's the other day. I was playing drum and bass, and I went into the Travelling Wilburys, and it went off. It worked. They were going for it because it's that same tempo, but then it's got that country feel, or not country, but it's like country-esque. And it worked just because. That's the beauty of mixing, of being able to like, oh, well, it's going with it, and then you can get people dancing to stuff they don't know, but are still enjoying. Because most of the time, people just want to hear what they know. Yeah, I think people that aren't that bothered about music. I think a lot. If you love music, you want to go out and you want to hear new music that you haven't heard, and you go out to hear new music. But most of the time, people want to go out and just hear what they know, so they can sing along. So that music's a bit like that, isn't it? It's like just trigger the things that I love, and I'm happy. It's like I don't need to. Yeah, they've got other shit going on, they've got things that they want to crack on with. It's like, just play stuff that's familiar, and then I'll be happy. But yeah, I think the more of a music nerd you are, the more you want to find new stuff to make you happy and to stir those those emotions, man. But yeah, that's the sad thing, is that I've realized that they're not that interested in exploring. They just want to know. They just want what they know.
I think we're all guilty of that a little
memory,
bit. I remember being
the nostalgia.
Oh yeah, I think it was Glenn Evans' like wedding party. I think I'm trying to like remember it now. And I've had a few beers, and I'm like, Ed, can you please play Organ Donor? I was like, had a few, and I was like, let's play it. And then you had it as well. I was like, have you got Organ Donor? You're like, I do. I couldn't believe that you had it. And then you chucked it on. That was a hell of a track. I love it. And I just had that weird memory of you being there. Like, it was at Glenn's mum's farm or something. It was outdoors. It was really nice weather.
Yeah. But then at night, the midgies came out, right? Yes. At that one. Yeah. And I was DJing like a ninja. I had to cover everything. Oh, no. I just had my eyes exposed. And by the end of it, it was only me that could withstand it. I was like, right, if I'm the last guy in here, that means I'm all right. I can tag out now. Yeah. It's time to stop. But that was a brilliant day, man. But it was too close to the river, wasn't it? And that's where all the...
no, I just remember or whatever it was. Really good day, like similar to today. Like the sun was out. It was great. The
makes a hell of a difference, doesn't it?
Beer was flowing, and
Still DJing the pier?
No, it's too late to finish for me. You can see what I'm like after a 4:30 finish.
What time's it closed now then?
I think it's 4:00.
Is it?
I think so.
Well, that's late.
It's a bit late for me. That's late.
Yeah, it's brutal.
That is. I went to see Eric Prydz in the summer in Cardiff Castle. And it finished at 11.
Nice.
Perfect. He knows his audience, doesn't he? He knows his audience. He knows the age of the audience. We might finish at 9:30. Right? And we'll give you an Ovaltine on the way out. See you later, guys.
It was literally 30 plus, like age group.
I bet.
Literally 30 plus was amazing.
I bet.
Loved it.
Perfect though.
Oh, it was perfect. It was again a day like this.
Nice.
Outside Cardiff Castle. You ever been to a gig there, Cardiff Castle?
No, I haven't. A mate went there recently to see. There was a big triple whammy of Mancunian bands. I've forgotten who was it. It was Charlatans, I think. Happy Mondays.
That's it.
And maybe New Order. I can't remember exactly, but it was a hell of a lineup. Yeah. I really wanted that, but I was working. Yeah. And I was like, and then because then that really increases the costs for me. It's like not only do I have to pay to go there and all that,
you're
it's
like
lose then money. I lose the wedge as well.
Yeah.
So
that's a good venue because the acoustics are brilliant in there because we're surrounded by walls basically.
Yeah,
it's
nice.
Cool. Really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I need to go and see something pretty good there. Can I ask you about Medina? It's is it called Taco Tuesday, right? I only found about this recently. I love Medina. Shout out Medina restaurant. I go there a lot. I love the breakfast, and I'm definitely going to come down to a Tuesday, a Taco Tuesday. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, they are good fun. We've literally knocked it on the head now, though.
Oh no! How did it come about as well? Is what I was going to ask you. How did that start?
Well, I think it was because Medina does a lot of eating in other places to see what's going on. So she travels quite a bit and goes to lots of restaurants and tries to get an idea of what's popping and what's going off. And she said she's seen DJs in restaurants quite a bit in where she was going. So just and I had put up a sign because a post about needing more work because it was when Rummers had gone splat. So she messaged me saying, "Do you fancy doing a Tuesday?"
Got you.
And I was like, I'd love to do that. I'd love to play in a restaurant and to see how it goes. But it is really difficult DJing with low volume because as you DJ, you increase it and you sort of try and build it up. So it's just that was the biggest issue for me there was to not not running away with the
you're there for like the ambience, not necessarily.
But Dave came in and I was like, oh Brill, I was playing loads of tunes that house DJs had sampled, so it was really like loads of old school disco and just like I knew you had just sat down, so it's not like he's going to get up and start dancing on the table. But I was like just wanted to play a little something that I knew somebody in the room would go, I know that. So
there was, I don't know what track it was. I was going to ask you because you played something. It was a female vocalist. You'll know. I don't know if you remember or not. Right. But it was a really, really good track.
Well, just so you know, I was playing tunes for you. I was like, I was digging out the house samples because I didn't want to play too much house. I've only played a couple of actual house records in there because it's a bit too pumping for dinner, I reckon. Yeah. So I was like, but I can get away with a bit, the funkier side of it.
It was a really good track. I can't remember what it was, but me and my missus, because she's into house music as well, and we looked at each other, I was like, what the hell's this? I didn't remember that guy going, Ed, what have we got playing there, mate? It was good.
Feel free if you're ever keen on a track, definitely come. I love it when people come up and say, "What's this?" It means that I'm playing something that's connected. So it's like,
no, you're playing some really good stuff.
Ah, cool,
really cool. Should we get some quick fires?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm banging up for some quick fires.
Yeah.
Do you want to start it?
Go on in. Favorite film, Ed?
Ooh, favorite film. That's a hard one. That changes regularly. That does. Groundhog Day is a bit of a beaut for me.
Bill Murray.
Yeah, but
Bill Murray's on the wall there.
Hey.
Big Earn.
Big Earn.
Yeah, but that film's amazing, man. And it's the first time, and I think it might be the first time that it happened when they messed around with the timeline in a film.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Well, no, they did it in Pulp Fiction. I don't know which was.
I think Groundhog Day, it feels 80s to me. I don't know whether it was late 80s or early 90s.
You had it on video, I remember it.
Yeah, I love Groundhog Day.
But not messed around with the timeline, because it's like Back to the Future and stuff are messing around with timelines. But that repetition. Because there's been loads of films like that since, haven't there? There's Tom Cruise one, and there's
when he kept on dying and then he kept on coming back and then respawning.
Yeah, that's it. But the first time I'd seen that was in Groundhog Day, which made it a sci-fi, but it wasn't a sci-fi, but it was a sci-fi.
It's like a rom-com,
but
a sci-fi. But I always
and a really good comedy.
What was that song that played on the radio every morning?
It was Shaz and Dave, not Shaz and Dave.
It was like that that's the wooden radio.
Cher, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I Got You, Babe.
That's it. Every morning he's just like,
who was Cher's partner at the time? Because it was Cher and
Sonny.
Yeah, Sonny and Cher. Thank you. Not Shaz and Dave.
Very, very similar. Couldn't mistake them.
So I remember watching it, but so what was going on? Why did he keep waking up on the same day? I don't get it.
Yeah, I can't remember what the actual reason was. It was just like stuck in some sort of temporal vortex with no explanation whatsoever, and because that's why it was weird. Because they're not pushing a sci-fi. Right. It just got this weird sci-fi element going on that isn't explained until he falls in love, and then he breaks out of this temporal vortex.
So he's under a spell.
Yeah, so it's like
he was trying to like have a series of dates, wasn't he? When he worked out that he was starting the day over again, he was trying to gain a little bit more ground on the date to try and win her over. But he had to start from scratch every morning. So
what was the actress?
And then they had that montage of slaps, didn't they? Every time he failed.
She had like dark curly hair.
Yeah, she did.
I can just picture really well, but
She did some work here.
I saw her.
Yeah.
I was driving down North Parade and she was just like there walking along the
was that for the Crown or something? How long ago?
I don't think it was the Crown, was it? It was something else. I don't know.
McDowell.
Andy
McDowell.
Wow.
That out. It was.
That was from the depths. That was impressive.
I had to dig deep. Dig deep on
saw her in town. It was like proper double take.
Was she filming around here?
Don't know. I'll Google it.
Andy McDowell.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw her when it must have been around COVID times, because I saw her when I was working in the Havod. And I remember seeing her and thinking, oh, I know her. But assumed it was somebody that I knew, and
from Groundhog Day.
Oh my god, she's a blooming Hollywood star. That's what I know. But I hadn't seen her for young, so she's obviously grown. You know, she's gotten a bit older. She didn't look how she did then, but still beautiful.
Yeah.
But that's why I had that familiarity. It was like, oh, are you? Do I know you from years ago?
Almost waved at her.
Yeah. Hi. I can't remember your name. It's like,
Yeah.
But yeah, fortunately, I didn't do that.
No.
But I was thinking it.
No, it's a good choice. Normally I ask this, so I'll ask it anyway. But let's go favourite artist or band. I know we've talked a lot about music, but if you could just pinpoint it, I'm guessing it's probably hip hop. But what's your
probably DJ Shadow.
DJ Shadow.
Yeah.
Is
What's the one we always listen to? The one that was on that No Friends bodyboarding.
Organ Donor? Is it?
It could be Organ Donor.
Oh God, it's going to kill me.
Midnight in a Perfect World. That's a big one from him. That's a real.
I'm trying to think of it in my head.
One that comes to mind is probably Organ Donor.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's not that one.
It's not that one.
No,
because that's his massive one. That's
that's
off.
like the big.
I feel like I'm going to get my phone out, but I'm not going to. Okay, I'll say it after. I'll Google it after.
6 days.
I don't really know the name of it.
Right.
But so you could just be throwing names at me.
You're going to start singing and no one wants that.
No.
For a while,
Favorite like takeaway or food? If you could eat something like every day.
Food. I love food, man. I do love food. So like in autopilot, I'd go to because I try and eat well. So in autopilot, I want to say, just rice, beef, whatever. But it's like, no, you can say something.
Yeah, just go for it, mate.
What would you love? What would you love?
I should know, shouldn't I? I should be able to.
You had a kebab last night. Is that on
I did
top
have
of
a
the
kebab,
list?
and I bloody love kebabs.
Oh, I love a kebab.
I love kebabs so much that, but because I'm so crap at organising, I remember saying to Beck when we were getting married, I was like, I want kebabs at the wedding. I want kebabs. She's like, fine, Ed, we can definitely have kebabs. You sort it out. Didn't have kebabs because I had to sort it out. So I'd probably say a kebab, actually. Yeah,
a shish kebab, or
I do like the shish. I know
the elephant leg.
The elephant leg.
The elephant leg.
What is that?
I have no idea.
I remember asking someone in Swansea years ago.
Doesn't feel like lamb.
But the guy I knew in Swansea, he had like a couple of these kebab houses, and I said, "What is that thing going around on the steak in the background?" He's like, "Well, it's like 40% lamb."
What's the rest of it?
He didn't know.
Elastic?
He didn't know. I was like, "Mate, what are you feeding these people?" So bad. So bad.
It's salty and tasty there.
I'm so salty. I woke up this morning.
Oh, so thirsty. Yeah. Favourite cereal?
Oh, favourite cereal. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a good one. Crunchy nut cornflakes, probably, if we're going for whatever.
Yeah, it could be from your childhood or
Yeah.
anything, because I know people tend to be more like health conscious now. So I think about but crunchy nut cornflakes.
Oh, they're the one. But they
Moorish.
make my teeth sing, man. I can't have them anymore.
70% sugar or something.
Yeah, it's something like that, isn't it? They're
it's high.
brutal.
Oh,
I had a bowl this morning.
But
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh. You had a bowl of crunchy nut?
Yeah.
He who dares.
My son's
He who dares, Rodney.
He's gone off Weetabix, unfortunately, so we's bought him crunching up, so he's never going to go back to Weetabix after going
That's like crack.
Never. Back. Do you want Weetabix, mate? No.
Should have pulled out a shreddy or something. Right. Maybe go back to the Weetabix, but no chance.
Terrible.
No chance.
Cool. Are we happy?
I'm happy.
Yeah? Happy, Ed?
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on, by the way.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for doing this, man. It's brilliant, this podcast.
Thank you.
I love it, and you're making a hell of a. It's a hell of a gift for the community, man. And I know that sounds a bit cheesy, but it really is. People getting, I've listened to a whole bunch of them and getting to know what people are doing.
Cool.
I
appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Cool.